of course, here at Sonisphere Festival. I mean, apart from being a little bit tired, how are you doing?
Really good. I've basically achieved the thing that everybody wants to achieve, and I played the main stage of the festival, so I'm pretty happy.
So it's been a little bit of a good day then. I mean, it's been all right.
It was really tough because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realise. We had no time at all to set up because the headline band was about 3 or 4 hours late, so about when we were going on stage they were still testing their pyrotechnics, but whatever, it doesn't matter, logistics, so we were super stressed, but we managed to smooth it out, and I think we were okay. I think people enjoyed it.
I'm really, really glad. I mean, nicely done. It's horrible kind of coming into things because you automatically feel like you're starting at a disadvantage, and so it's really hard to bring it back. But
no, we were very lucky because the crew were really good to us. They were like, okay, you're opening. The headline band are still fucking around, but they were so good to us they basically allowed us to go on late, which was really cool because they were still having to set us up. But,
that is really, really
fantastic.
Nice.
Really, really helpful.
Fantastic. And of course, it's been a kind of upheaval-y couple of weeks in the Tesseract camp. I mean, maybe we've had this conversation before, but
no. Well, this is it. We seem to get through singers.
You do,
but we've gone back to an ex. Imagine what it's like if you were to meet up with an ex again and go straight into a relationship with that ex. Yeah, you're embarrassed. It would be pretty crazy, wouldn't it? But fortunately, we've been really good friends with Dan, our ex-singer, who's now our current singer, for the last 3 or 4 years. So it was just easy to do, and it actually feels really good to be back working with him again. It's one of those things that it just feels right. I wish things could have been different with our previous singer Ash, but sadly
what's actually happened there?
Well,
all I've heard is creative differences.
That's it. Yeah, he wasn't happy. We weren't happy, and rather than things get to a point where it's going to be an acrimonious split, it was a case of, well, let's do this now. Very stressful because obviously we had Sonisphere coming up, so we're like, main stage, should we be doing this? But we were very fortunate that, like I say, still in touch with Dan, and Dan was in a different place in his life where he could say, okay, I can come back and be the vocalist in Tesseract and also want to do this. It's very important to him to be a part of this now.
And what's changed for him to mean that he's able to come back now?
He's got a kid. It was so funny. So his 6-month-old baby is outside the stage just bouncing along, and all the security guards are just totally melting, and these guys are like 6'6" and huge guys, and they're like, oh my god, there's a baby on stage, what the hell's going on? Yeah, we've all kind of grown up a bit, and things are very different now. Dan just couldn't be what we needed him to be, which was on the road as much as possible, because he had to try and be a part of a family, which is perfectly understandable. People don't realise how strange it is to be a musician and to not have the cash and to just basically doing this for love. He went from a quite well-paid job to suddenly being in a band that was away from home for 3 or 4 months. Just couldn't do it. Whereas now he's managed to establish himself as a vocal coach, and that has enabled him to have a regular steady income, which means that he can do that whilst we're on the road and do that whilst we're not on the road and be there for his kid. For us, like James, the guitarist, he's got 2 kids. Dan now has a kid. We're all of a sudden this grown-up band, it's really weird. And I've got a fiance in China, so I've got to travel over there, and we can't do what people assume the rock and roll thing is, which is just be on the road all the time. We've got to really plan ourselves quite well, and it's interesting. It's fun because we get to really appreciate what we're doing when we're able to do it, but we can't go out there and be on the road for a year, we just can't do it. So it's
interesting.
You'll find a lot of bands are actually like that, but they won't say it because they're afraid. Not afraid, but if you're not rock and roll, but we can't be rock and roll. We've got families. Things are very different. Reality has smacked us really hard, but fortunately, we're able to get together in a position now where it's working.
And when it comes to the whole Sky Harbour thing, I mean, what's going to be happening there? Is that still going on?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we can...
come August, maybe September, Dan's going to start finishing off the new Sky Harbour album, which is... We were really worried that what we were doing was going to get in the way and we were going to upset, we really respect Kashav, the guy that writes most of Sky Harbour stuff. And he was obviously upset about Dan rejoining Tesseract because he was thinking it was going to be a problem. But we've tried really hard to explain, look, there's going to be times where we're not touring and it's going to be okay. And Dan has been very honest with him and has been basically stating that there's going to be time for this to work. And well, they've already put out a pledge campaign, and so they need to make that happen. So hopefully that will get finished in August, and then they will be able to do some touring in January, February. Hopefully, I just really hope that, because we know what it's like when there's a bit of interference between bands. And that's why we couldn't work with Dan originally. We were like, look, Dan, our touring schedule is so hard that you just can't do this. So that's why we moved on. And I just hope that that's not going to happen with us and Sky Harbour. But we're very flexible. When we're on the road hard. But when we're not on the road, again, we're not on the road hard. So there's going to be 2 or 3 months where we're not going to be touring. And so long as we plan, it'll be fine.
And I think if rumour is to believe you're writing a new album as well, kind of with Dan, and that's going to be something that's happening soon.
Yeah, well, we've already started writing. We've got 5 tracks that we've kind of started demoing, and we'll finish that off early next year. Hopefully we will start to... We're going to maybe release something in September, October, because we've got a tour coming up. But that'll just be one song, just a single, maybe a video, and then maybe May, June next year, we'll hopefully release a full album and go to our biggest market, which is North America, and then come back to Europe and hopefully do a few festivals and then start to tour again. But you will probably get sick of hearing of us.
It's just not possible. I'm already looking forward to seeing you at Euroblast. It's going to be
cool.
Good.
You're coming to
I have to.
Sid?
Yes, I am. I don't know whether I can make Tech Fest next week, and I'm just thinking, but Euroblast is going to be the way forward. I can't
That'd be really
wait
cool because it's a really big venue. It's about 1,800 people there.
Oh wow!
It's a bit noisy venue, but it's a fun venue. So I mean,
I've only ever done European festivals when I've been crew, not actually press, and so it'd be really, really good to see it from that side of things. Yeah.
Really fun.
So
there isn't a pit at whatever the venue's called. I can't remember. But we played there 3 months ago with Protest the Hero.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Such a good venue, really cool. But yeah, no pit. So the photographers were absolutely brutalized because the pit's pretty nuts. When for us it can kick off, but definitely for Protest the Hero it can really kick off.
That was an amazing tour actually, and I saw the pits on that tour because I saw you in Manchester.
It was we had a lot of fun.
It's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
It
really has. It's been as always a pleasure, and I'm sure that we'll see you at Euroblast.
We'll be around.
Brilliant.
Excellent.